Hey, and welcome to SatHERday's with Shalimar J. And I am Shalimar J, your host. And I am so excited, guys, about the woman that we have on the show today. Welcome to the virtual studio. As we know, COVID-19 has made things so different for a lot of platforms. And also when it comes to airing of shows. And I'm so grateful that God created the ability and the option for us to do things virtually. So I am ready, ready, ready. She's coming all the way from Alabama, right?
That is correct.
I'm all the way
Montgomery,
over here in
Alabama.
Montgomery. Uh-oh. And I'm all the way here in Georgia. And God would made a way for Montgomery, Alabama, and Georgia to connect virtually so that testimony can be shared. And when I tell y'all, Miss Janice, I call her, Dr. Janice is what I want to say, has a story to tell you guys. We all have a story. We all have various stories to share, testimonies about God's goodness and greatness. But my Lord, when I tell you all, she is a walking, living testimony, and you'll understand why I chose walking at first in a moment. She's an author, a new author. She just finished putting her book out there. It launched last month. And I am so excited about that. She talked to us about, my goodness, how we can major as women in our marriage. I learned so much in a very short period of time from Ms. Dr. Janice Vance. But
Wow.
without any more delay, I introduced to you all Miss Dr. or Mrs. rather, Dr. Janice Vance. Hey, girl.
Hey, I am so glad to be here for having me.
Ah, you are absolutely welcome. I thank you for coming. So now I want you to begin with your testimony. I know that everything God has allowed you to experience literally led you to the next step and the next level in life. And I want you to talk to us about how you got through things, but primarily starting, as I said before, with the walking miracle testimony. Talk to us about your book, how that came about, and everything that you do, Miss Janice. Just talk to us.
Okay, I'm still trying to catch my breath over her calling me doctor. I never been called before, but I am Janice Fan. I am the founder of Major. The Marriage Majors is my coaching service that I offer to married women, inspiring them to major in their marriage, to not just to have a marriage, but have a thriving marriage, and also to engage to major in their marriage before they start spending money on their wedding day, because your marriage is a lifetime investment. And also those that are in the for their believing God for their husband. And as you all know, none of us like waiting. We want everything microwave. We want it right now. And sometimes women, we get they get caught clock saying, "Oh, I'm 4:30. Oh, I'm this, and I haven't got there," and they get bombed. And I encourage them to wait and be busy in the things
Miss
being
Janice,
author.
I'm
I've been
sorry
in
to cut you
coaching.
off.
I've been
Can
in
you
coaching.
repeat that part for me? I'm sorry. Right after you said women in their 40s, it kind of chopped up. And, I know, as I was saying, we're doing this thing virtually and we're doing it via, internet connections and things like that. So sometimes choppiness happens and lagging happens. But if you remember what
Yeah.
you were saying, can you go back a little bit and tell us again what you were saying about women basically being impatient and thinking about the biological clock ticking, and I'm 40 years old and I'm not married yet? What did you say after that?
Oh, yes. So those that are in the waiting season, they get caught up in the biological clock, and in that they in a hurry, they get vulnerable, and they set and are them too busy while waiting on their husband to find. because he has to find you. He needs to find you. And for a long time, and I never desired authors, authors, but I never had any notes because I did not desire. I had what they call a ruptured disc, and my surgery was to be 4 to 6 week recovery. I get out of the hospital within 4 days, go over to a rehab, and stay at the rehab. While I was at the rehab, on my fifth, I think on my fifth day there, fifth or sixth day there, at the clock, and I was amazed that I had slept all night without being in pain. Cup of water off of my tray, and a pain hit me in my chest. I could not reach for my call button to call for a nurse, and was okay. I told the tech to get my need the nurse. It has nothing to do with my
Lord Jesus. Okay, Miss
neck. It has nothing to do with my surgery. My nurse came in.
I heard you. You said you had a pain, and I'm interjecting like this because I hear the lagging and the breaking up, and I know it's a testimony that needs to be shared. And we pray before we start our show. And I know I'm going to say here it's just the enemy trying to interfere because someone needs to hear your testimony. We're going to keep on pushing, and we're going to press past that. But the last thing that was clear was that you called on the tech. It was something going on with your heart. You felt something in your chest, and then I didn't hear after that. So what was next?
Then she went to get the nurse, my nurse, because she was one of the techs. She went to get the nurse and began vitals. And I was telling her, begging her. And long story short, was they called the paramedics, called my husband. I told the tech, I told her to come close to me because my voice was so weak. And I told her, I said, will you tell my family for me that I.
What?
And immediately all occurred as if I was on a stage. The curtain began in slow motion. And it was days later when I woke up. And from my understanding, the doctors, my family, and that my family waited patiently, and it ended up they had to put me on life support because of a ventilator that was breathing 100% for me because I wasn't breathing on my own. I came to on the third day, and I realized what all had happened to me. Days after I got in a room, a nurse came and a doctor. She said, "Are you Mrs. Vance? May I touch your hand?" I said, "Sure." "No, you're a walking miracle." She said, "I was the doctor in critical ICU that worked you to keep you off the ventilator because of your brain. You have brain damage. You have a lot of weakness. So many side effects would be have made it made it to another room. So that inspired me then. That inspired me as to how life is so short, and that whatever we plan on doing, we have to fast.
You said that
And
it inspired you. I'm sorry. It inspired you to understand how short life is, and then can you say that part again for us?
Yes, it inspired me because life is so short, and you could be here. The closest I would tell if death would present itself. I don't care what's on your vision board. I don't care what's on your agenda calendar. When death hit, it's over. It is over. I desire not to take to my grave. I want to fulfill the purpose that God had given me. And that was to inspire women. Write a book. After that incident, 3 days before everybody knew about COVID. So we thinking it was COVID that happened to her. Left and went to her house in Birmingham. And I went and grabbed my laptop a couple of months prior to writing a book. And I just started out with just wake me up at night with things to write and to inspire people. So this is one of the chapters that's in my book. And I think it's titled In Sickness and in Health, a Challenge. When we stand at that altar, the very thing that we say I do to, so we say it so happily to, we never know that very thing. And I was challenged with that because after I got out of rehab, back to rehab and came home, I had no strength. Shalimar telling myself, this is not unto death. He's in a tablet all day, every day.
Can I
I
say
would
this?
practice writing my husband.
This is not to take away from your testimony at all, but I feel like it's important to insert this. And you know, Miss Janice, God he always has amazed me. Okay, his
Yes.
ability to amaze in general and to amaze me has always been apparent. But in the moment of amazement, I am just like, oh my God. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. We never met. I never heard your
Never.
story. Now, let me take that back a little bit. This is our second interview for those who are watching. I interviewed Miss Janice only a matter of a couple weeks ago, and that was my first encounter with her. I'd never met her before then. God has been leading me to the women that he wants to have on Saturdays with Shalimar J, as well as Girl Embrace It TV. And he told me clearly they will have a story to tell. And he has not failed us yet. He has not failed me yet when I've reached out, right? But what
Right.
I have found, Miss Janice, as I have progressed through this, and every woman that I've talked to and who shared their story and talked about their process and their goals and aspirations and reaching milestones, I found myself in them in some way. I literally got in a car accident and was paralyzed.
Wow.
My entire right side. But before I knew I got in an accident, and I remember a man coming to the car, he said, his words to me were, I need you to talk to me. Talk to me. No, 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 don't close your eyes. Don't close your eyes. But all I saw was white. And when you talked about the white curtain, it reminded me of that moment I saw like a white, just as white as this piece of paper is in front of
Yes.
me.
Yes.
And it seemed like it was a bright yellow light, maybe in the corner of it. At the moment, I remember him saying, "No, I need you to talk to me and keep your eyes open." And I saw the white in the light. And the next thing I remembered, I was in the emergency room, or in the hospital rather. I didn't know it was the emergency room until later on, but I knew I was in the hospital bed with a brace on, and I'm looking around like, and then the other piece of what you were talking about that made me say, Lord, oh my God, you're so amazing. I had to learn how to write again.
Oh my God.
I was learning how to write with my left hand. Then I had to learn, I was sitting at a table, had my feet on a little stool, had to keep my legs together with the little strap. I was in a wheelchair, went from a wheelchair to a walker. So when
Yes.
when you started to talk about go ahead, my Lord, continue, continue.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus,
Oh my goodness.
he is so
Okay.
amazing. Lord, I thank you. Yeah,
And
oh,
I end up I end up to learn to walk. I a walker. I take the top. I didn't have any strength to pop out the toothpaste. My husband had to do everything for me. You can see I am walking. I've been married 42 years. I married my junior high school sweetheart. And the reason I named my book The Marriage Major, I'm sorry, Women Majoring in Their Marriage, is no matter how long you've been married, you're still learning. You're still learning. You're still in challenge. You might not be in 101. I don't think I'm in 101. We done got our children at the house. I think that was when I graduated from that. Two children, and God knows children out of the house. But I wouldn't say that I'm marriage 101. But I'm still majoring, still learning in my marriage. That's why I encourage you. You have seasons in marriage, so don't give up. Continue to major. Continue to major. The life support right now, barely breathe, and you just going on with the flow. Oh, we've been married this long. Just go on, go on. No, you should want to thrive in marriage. You should always want in your marriage, grow in your marriage. So I just thank God for allowing me to write a book that He placed inside of me that I never desired to do, but He allowed me to go through that. He allowed that white curtain to close up on me. He allowed me to wake up in ICU looking around. It
come on,
was days
Janice.
later, see me, and I don't even know they're there. Days pass, I don't know what has happened. I'm on life support, and my family just believe in God that I was gonna get through this. My son said he just knew that God was gonna bring me out of
And
this.
he did.
And I am a walking miracle. I am a living testimony because faithful, He's great. And there's so many people that the cemetery is the richest place because people take their goals, their dreams, and I said, Lord, I don't want that to be me. You placed it on my heart to write this book in less than 6 months. And
Mm.
God blessed me with the desires of my heart to release my book on my birthday, November the 20th. And God is so good. This is an emotional time for me. He's been, and I think listening to Shalimar, we never met ever. I get an email from her. It says she's been, and God has brought us together. I knew her side. She's married, so I know that she's still her marriage through all she went through. So we have to continue to major in our marriage. And I'm just very full today. I'm very full. I did the interview, okay, but I did not know her story. I did not know her story. She was talking about that white curtain. Our person who been through it can understand exactly, because I really can't explain it to people how it's closing right before me. And I told the nurse 3 times. I said, I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying. That's what I remember.
You know, little did you know that there will be restoration in your hand. Here you're thinking about being life restored, but he taught you how to write again, to write again.
To write
And
again.
I'm sure, obviously, you even said it, that you never thought that you would write a book, but he knew.
He
There was
knew.
a different purpose behind holding the pen. There was a different purpose now behind you being able, the little things that people never think about. I didn't never think I needed to
Yes.
really be grateful that I could brush my teeth. Really? To
Yes.
be able to reach to
Yes.
grab something? The little things. And God had to sit my behind down. And what was going on with me, Miss Janice, was I was pursuing an acting career. And at the time it was going quick. Every audition I booked, I was doing commercials and things. And my first little spot in a motion picture, as a matter of fact, the scene that I was in was the trailer for the movie that I was on. And my circle was a little different. I was just going, 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 going,
Wow.
going, 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 going. And God was like, and I know that there were instances now that I go back in time now, and other instances in years past, I think about it. He told me to slow down. I didn't listen. So since I didn't listen, all right. Well, I got to put you to a screeching halt. Okay. I couldn't go nowhere. You hear me? I laugh about it for real now. Like, I couldn't, if I wanted to go, well, I was going to
Right.
go. How
Right.
was I going to get there? He demolished the vehicle I was in and set my little butt down. And I remember laying in my bed and I said, Lord, and I'm paraphrasing this. If you just let me walk out of here, I don't care if I just got one good side. If you just let me walk out of here, I promise that everything I do from this moment forward will be for you. Just let me walk out of here.
For you.
And when I tell you he granted that desire, and I often am reminded when I start tripping, because I'm not perfect and none of us are, of the promise
Right.
that I made. And what I told him, you told me, Shalimar, that whatever you do, if I would have just let you, okay, God. So the next time I graced somebody's television screen, it was for his glory.
Wow.
The next time I got on a
Wow.
stage, it was for his glory. If I was dancing,
Mm.
if I was preaching, doing this,
Wow.
whatever I have to do, God, I'll do it for you. And I'm content with it. But
Yes.
when I tell you the connection, it just, I'm amazed, but I'm not surprised.
Yes.
And your
Yes.
story,
Yes.
I'm saying this to anyone who's watching. Do not think miracles can't happen. Don't believe
Absolutely.
that if your situation is similar to Miss Janice's, or your situation was similar to mine even. But let's focus on Miss Janice right now. And you come out of it and God, revived you. You died, you came back to life, but you're not walking, but you're alive. It doesn't mean that he didn't work a miracle.
Right.
It doesn't mean because your after the fact doesn't look like mine that nothing really took place. Yes, something took place, you're still breathing. So don't stop believing in
Exactly.
miracles. Don't stop thinking that God can't do. And then after that, God is using her even the more in a way that she didn't even imagine. I've
Mm-mm.
been married twice, Miss Janet. Now, earlier you were talking about how you reach out to, your goal is to talk to the women who are the pastors' wives and all of that, and um, so because they feel like they don't have anybody to talk to. That was me. I was the wife of a pastor my own
Wow.
church.
Wow.
It's another testimony of the story, but I was dealing with abuse, and I would have to cover up my bruises and preach in the pulpit and
Mm.
hide behind the smile. Sometimes I didn't show up because I couldn't cover up enough, but I didn't have nobody to talk to.
Wow.
And whom I decided to talk to when I finally got fed up, you know what they told me, Miss Janice? When you put the law in it, you took the Lord out of it and closed me off. So I didn't have a Janice Vance, but I'm glad that there is one. So when you said that, I was like, Lord, yeah. I think I might have, I don't know what I did. I remember I was doing something like this, I believe, because I really wanted to say something, but then I was like, I got to listen. But that is needed, is my point. Your
Yeah.
desire is a need. And it
Yes.
was a need before I became the pastor's wife. I wasn't the only woman that needed somebody to talk to. And I'm not saying that every pastor's wife was abused. So let me clear that
Right.
up before the devil
Right.
try to twist my words. There
Right.
are those that just need to talk about things because everyone pours everything that they're dealing with on them.
On them.
And it's like, well, who do
Exactly.
I trust with my stuff? Who do
Yes.
I let these things? And it could be, I'm just stressed out. But you can't go to the member and tell them how stressed you are because then they'll be like, well, how you gonna help me? You stressed. What you
You
mean?
stress.
I don't stress.
Exactly.
You know, who do you
Exactly.
go to? And that
Exactly.
is so needed, Miss Vance. That is so needed. So I'm
Yeah.
glad, I'm grateful, I am elated that that is a
Mm.
desire of your heart.
It is.
Guys, please follow Miss Janice Vance. You can find her at www.janicevance.com. You can find her on Facebook at Women Majoring in Their Marriage. You can also hear some more from Miss Janice Vance. Um, Follow us afterwards for after the show, behind the scenes, where we continue the conversation that we couldn't air on network TV. You have a wonderful day, guys. And remember, your scars are beautiful because they are your testimony. Miss Janice, thank you, Dr. Janice. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
sharing your story, sharing your testimony. Hold on, because there is more to come. Until next time, bye, guys.
Bye.